All right. Very cool. Okay, guys. Well, let me go ahead and hop on in. Tonight, we are looking at a case study where I actually just closed last week and we made nearly $300,000 on a single deal. I'm like pinching myself to even say those words out loud. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And this wasn't maybe a little bit of the marketing were like 300K in one single deal. This was over 5 years. Okay. This is a 5 year project. And I want to show you the beauty of the method that I run every single day in and out. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how this all works. Okay. So let me start sharing my screen and let me know if you guys can see this because this is my new thing I found. Can you see this? Look, it's little me in the corner. Isn't that fun? It's so cool. Okay, so you guys let me know in the comments as we go if you need me to stop, if you have any questions, if there's something that you don't understand or need more clarification on. This is designed for you. It is designed for you. And so I want to be able to provide as much value as possible. Okay. And like I said, it's super casual. Let me know in the comments as we go, and I will stop and answer everything. I do want to give you a quick and honest note before we get started. These numbers are real. They're incredibly real. I have all the documents to support it from profit and loss statements, balance sheets, closing documents, appraisals. For the sake of this example, they have been rounded to kind of simplify. And I didn't break down every single detail of every single expense. They're kind of lumped into categories, but it's still going to show you how the method works and how the really just the process overall from purchase through renovation, renting, refinance, and repeat. Cool? Let me know in the comments if that's fair, that you understand that. And then obviously I need to highlight every single deal is different. This is not a promise or a guarantee that if you bought a similar deal, it would turn out exactly like this. Okay. I'm confident it would, but I can't make that promise. So let's go ahead and hop on in. From one ordinary 4 unit building, myself, my LLC, and my family created $273,000 worth of income. That is between the refinance, the sale, and 5 years of cash flow. Cool? If you guys stay to the end, and I know that you all will, we are actually giving away a little freebie to everyone who wants it. We will give you a phone number to text, and then once you text that number, we will send you over. I'm not going to tell it quite yet, but we have some goodies for you. So stay to the end. And I will say this is not a pitch. I'm not selling anything on this call whatsoever. What I am showing you is the method that I teach inside of our Rentals Made Easy Mastermind. I teach a 6 month program. Many people stay on after that. We walk you hand in hand through this entire process. So there will be an opportunity to learn more, but it is not on this call. So no pitch. I'm truly, truly here to give value. Yes, love it. Okay, who knows the BRRRR method? Who is familiar with my method? I've seen a couple names of folks that I'm already working with. So Frankie, John, I know you guys already, you know the method. Let me know in the comments, who knows this method? Ooh. As we're going through that, I am going to kind of go over this. So, yep, we're hearing some yeses. Love it. The method here is the idea is you're going to buy a property under market value that needs renovation. Okay. That's the key here. If you're buying it top of market or retail, this method isn't going to work. You need the ability to force the value of the property in a very short amount of time. So you're going to buy under market value. You're going to renovate, which we will look at exactly what I did. You're going to go out and get it rented. You are going to refinance this property into long-term money, and then you are going to repeat this process over and over and over. So this building specifically, This is a 111-year-old brick 4 unit in a Class C neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio. A Class C neighborhood. Everyone's, shaking in their boots. I don't buy in war zones. I don't buy in D neighborhoods, but I have not a single problem buying in a Class C, and I will show you exactly why. There's 4 units. So if you can see, there's 4 front doors here. There are 2 units up and 2 units down. You actually, 2 of them, you walk in the middle two. When you walk in, it's the staircase up. So those are the two upper units. And then the lower below, they're identical other than the staircase. Each one is 2 bedroom, 1 bath. There's no AC in this property. We did not install central air. And we live, it's north, but it gets warm. I mean, we get into the 90s, and that was not a deterrent on getting this rented. Same thing with parking. We had some off-street parking. We have a little parking lot, but there's no garages. There's nothing like that. And I would say the parking lot wasn't even in absolute, it wasn't in fantastic condition. It was a very mediocre parking lot. And I'm saying this to highlight that you don't have to go to the nines. All you have to do is do exactly what the neighborhood around you demands. Okay. So that's what I did. We purchased this for $129,000. I bought it all cash. And that is only because we had the money available and because this needed to close very quickly. Okay. If you were using hard money, you probably would have had about 10% down on this project between the purchase and the rehab. So that's the rehab. I'll tell you the number shortly, but that would be around 20,000 of your own money in the deal. That's with hard money. You also could raise private money. We work with private money constantly. That's your friends, family, someone who may have had this sum of money that wasn't you. And they were able to lend you the money with a mortgage on the property, so they're still secured, and then you turn around and buy it cash, even though it's not your cash. Okay, so that's private money. Of that 129, $22,000 of that was a wholesale fee. I paid 22K to the person who brought me this deal. They went out, they did the legwork, they did the hard work of finding the seller, negotiating, walking it, getting it under contract. I came in as the buyer, whoop, and I just snuck and stole that deal. And obviously I didn't steal it. I got it for $22,000, right? I stepped into their place in the contract and I closed this in exchange for $22,000 that was built into my 129. At the time, I would tell you, and I'll show you on the refi, this actually wasn't a crazy good deal. It was a modest deal. It was good, but I don't think people were fighting over it. I think they may have had a couple offers and mine was the best. But I want to show you what happens, the power of holding. Okay. So I want to show you what happens anyways. The renovation, and we're going to look at some photos. We spent about $18,000 on average per unit, somewhere a little bit better, somewhere a little bit worse. That's about $72,000 across all units. This is kitchen, baths, flooring, paint, and plus a few key mechanical upgrades depending on what each unit needed, right? We didn't do furnaces across the board if they didn't all need furnaces. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop in and look at these photos. Let me pull this up. Can you guys still see? Okay, I'm going to show you the before. Share. Okay, can you guys see this? Okay, so these are the befores. Like I said, I'm not going to go through every single one, but like I said, it wasn't in terrible condition. This is about what we buy. I buy properties that look just like this all the time. This was one of the nicer units, to be honest. I'll show you one that gets a little crazy. So like I said, some of the hot water tanks were newer, some of the furnaces were already newer. But they all needed cosmetic. They needed a full cosmetic renovation. Like you see what I say, you walk up to the stairs, they had closets, they have nice big windows. I think I was walking this with my property management at the time, which you guys don't do it. Don't do property management. Some minor cosmetic stuff, but really not too bad. And I'm going to show you the after photos as well. So this is another unit. I'm gonna pick it up a little bit. This is the one that was in the worst condition. They did some like treatments of some DIY wall treatments, but thankfully it was just paint. So it was not a big deal. It does look like a murder took place, but that was their design choice. So again, some mechanicals were good. So I think you guys get the idea, right? Oh, this was one of the worst units. We had some drywall repair. Again, not a super big deal. I want to hear from everyone in the comments. If you came across this deal, would you be scared away by the condition of the units, or is this right in your buy box? Here's a sign to know very quickly if it has AC. Lizzie says she'd buy it. What would everyone else do? Would this scare you away? John says buy. Oh, I don't know which is the actual Lizzie. A bunch of Lizzies are saying buy. Right in our buy box, you've seen some scary places. Yes. Dustin says buy. I love it. Thank you for putting your name in there. So this is it. Okay. So now let me show you guys what this looks like after. So this is one of the units. We replaced the kitchens. We replaced the countertops. We did not do granite on this one. We do on a lot of units, but we did not here. We got nice used appliances. Did all the drywall repair. We did the same flooring throughout, the same paint color across my entire portfolio. Nice, good sized living room. We replaced some of the windows, but not all of them, just as needed. And this is truly the condition that all of our rentals are in. Oh, it has laundry. That's actually a really nice feature here for a smaller unit. We did some new exterior doors as needed, but not all of them. And this is it. This is just one. I'm just going to show you one, but they all look identical. They all look identical. So there she is. Back to my slideshow. Let me see. Sorry, this is share. Okay, there we go. Cool. We are back. So you saw the pictures. You saw, I did not reinvent the wheel. I did not overdo it. This was not some HGTV blowout, anything like that. We did kitchen baths, flooring paint, and key mechanicals where needed. 5 months later, this appraised for $213,000. Okay, so I paid $129, including the wholesale fee. It appraised for $213. The loan is $213 on the refi. Oh man, my head's in front of this. Okay, you can see that's from my appraisal. The estimated value. So this is the screenshot from the appraisal. It is $213. I got an 80% loan to value note, 30 years, fixed rate. We were about 4.625% because this was, rates were low. This was the good old days. And we borrowed 80% of that value. So that came out to $70,200. Now, I had already purchased it cash. I had renovated it cash. So I had $201,000 of my own dollars in the deal. Between some holding and closing costs, I guess I didn't have finance on this. I spent another $10,000 or so. And like I said, we're estimating, I have all the numbers, but these are round numbers. So I've invested about $211,000 of my own dollars into this deal. That could be private money, that could be hard money, that could be your own money, depending where you are, how you decide to structure it, all that business. So I ended up leaving about $40,000, $41,000 in this deal once the refi was complete because the bank lent me $170, but I had $211 in the deal. Do you guys see how I had more money in the deal than what they gave me back? So at closing on the refi, I walked with $170, but it didn't pay back all the money I had in the deal. Do you guys see that? I'm going to assume everyone says yes. If you don't see it, let me know, okay? Then I had this refied. I held this thing for the next 5 years. We brought in $199,155.27 in that time frame. If you do not use a QuickBooks or a Wave or whatever accounting software you absolutely need to be, and the good news is I started this from the beginning, so I have the entire time frame that I own this. Between all of the different, software I've had over the years and just all of it together, we brought in about 199. I didn't show the full P&L, but of that, about $84,000 was profit, cash flow. Okay, net cash flow. This is and that's over 5 years of what we call passive income. And we all know it's not passive, but that's about 5 years worth of, these were renting on the low side because it was 4 units over 5 years. So there was a couple different rates, but I think on the low side, we were in the 800s and then we got up to like 950, close to 1,000. So that was kind of the range that brought in 200K. Okay. Then I went to go sell this just this past week. We closed like last week. We sold it for $400,000. 400K. So in the last, I refinanced it in August of 2021. So, and it's July now, 2026. So over those 5 years, this thing doubled in value in a C-class neighborhood I love Columbus, but it's not a top major metro of the United States, right? It's not New York or Dallas or anything like that. It's kind of an under the radar city, but we love Columbus. So even in what I wouldn't call necessarily a top market, we doubled this property in value. My loan payoff, because remember I borrowed 170 and then I paid that off over time. So my loan payoff was about 146K. We had closing costs between some few seller credits and commissions and all that. I walked away with about $230,000, $230,939.92. A lot of nines. That literally, this is from the other day. This literally hit the bank account. And this is from holding for 5 years. Okay, we're gonna recap this. So the last check was only part of it, right? We got 230 at the closing table. We also got the 84 in cash flow. But remember, I left 41,000 in that deal. So if you do the math, where plus 230 plus 84 minus 41, you're at that 273,000 profit over 5 years. Is this crazy? Is this amazing? Who wants to buy a Highland? It's good. It's good, y'all. Real estate is really good. So I have some takeaways on this that I want to show you. Well, here, let me do this first. So if you look at the BRRRR cycle that we talked about in the very beginning, I bought for 129. I put 72 into it. It rented for about 3,800 a month, kind of on average. The refi in this case is a sale. So sold it for 400 and all in walked with about 273K in profit. This one deal, everyone's been asking me, Jesse, what are you going to do with the money? So we are first going to beef up our reserves. I've been kind of living with about 3 months of reserves, which is the low side that I would recommend. It's because I've been buying heavily. And so we're going to beef that up to 6 months of reserves. And so that's a good chunk of this. And I put that in a very safe, it's not quite a money market, but it's a very stable account where it is growing a little bit, but I'm not putting it at risk, right? Those reserves are how I sleep at night. And I already sleep pretty good at night. So this is like going to help me sleep even better from 3 to 6 months. I'm also going to pay off another property that we are looking to sell. That it's a long story and I'll spare you all the details, but the payoff, it was part of a blanket loan and the payoff was more than the property's actually worth. So I have to bring some money to closing on that one. And that is not because the property went down in value. It's purely because the way that the payoff's calculated, because there's other properties involved in that loan. So we're going to pay that baby off and sell that one. And then I think a lot of you probably know I've announced it a couple weeks ago, but my wife and I are moving to Charlotte, North Carolina to be closer to family. So we are actually going to take some money out of this deal, out of the business. We're buying it's not quite the dream house, but it's a pretty cool house. So we're buying the perfect house, and I have to I'm going to talk about my lessons in a second, but I had to really, really think and convince myself that it's okay to sell a property. And because we're told, right? Buy, hold. It is okay to sell a property. And that's what we're doing. We sold, I'm taking the money, I'm going to go put it in a nice kitchen, I'm going to go put it in a nice bath. We're going to pay off a car or two. And yeah, so I'm actually going to, for the first time in a long time, I'm going to use some of this money for myself and not just straight back into the business. Okay, so I'll tell you, none of this was luck. It was a systematized process. I mean, we bought at the right time, at the right place, of course, but real estate historically goes up in value. So maybe it doesn't double in 5 years, but it historically goes up. I do the same thing over and over and over on all of my properties, single family, multifamily, in the city, out of the city, wherever I'm buying, I run the exact same process because it's systematized. My buy box, I was not afraid to buy something ugly. It's in the right pocket. I knew that it would cash flow. I knew it would appreciate. I refied at the right time, right? Once I had forced the value of that property through renovations, I held and I didn't flip yet. Okay. I let the residents pay that mortgage down from the 170 balance to the 140 something when I went to actually pay it off. So someone else paid that down for me every single month. And then the exit is, sell basically 4 times what I bought it for, not on emotion, right? Not on emotion. So this is repeatable. I want you to understand that. And I told you some of the lessons that I'm learning is to standardize your units. And I've been doing this for a long time. Same flooring, same paint, same cabinets, same appliances. Everything's the same toilet, the same lighting fixtures, all of it's the same because it makes ongoing management so much easier. Number two, I hinted at this one already, but it is actually okay. It is actually okay to sell a property. Me even a year ago, you would have me sitting here with a death grip on these properties because I put so much hard effort into it, right? We put so much effort into all this renovation and the refi process and getting the right residents in place and doing all this. And it's hard to walk away, but sometimes it's okay because you look at the proceeds that you could be making and where can you use that money better? And I will say I've sold in the past. This is actually the first time that the money isn't going directly back into more purchases. This is the first time I'm using it elsewhere. So if it was going directly into more purchases, I would be able to take that, say 230, which was the current cash. I could turn that into another 10 doors. Easy, probably 15 doors. So it's okay to sell 4 to go buy 15 if that's the strategy. Do you guys understand that? Does that make sense? Real estate gives you options. And that is the freaking, I tell my community this all the time. It's the freaking coolest thing about all of it. And sometimes the options can be overwhelming. Like there's too many options and you don't know what to do next. But that's why you have peers and community and experts, your CPA, your CFO, anyone who can help you through these situations. And my CFO helped me actually quite a bit with figuring out this was the right building to sell. And then number 3 is one of the really, really big ones. And I talk about this all the time. Money in the deal. I left $41,000 of my own money in this deal at the time of refi. Money in the deal is okay. Most people would have looked at this and been like, no, bad deal. I'm not buying that. because I'm going to have to leave $40,000 in it. Looking back 5 years in hindsight, would you buy this deal? Would you put down $40,000 for 5 years in order to make nearly 300? I better see a lot of yeses in the comments. Absolutely. Absolutely. John says yes. I would buy, y'all, if I could go back in time, I would buy the same deal 20 more times if I could. And I will in the future as well. But I'm just saying the power is not necessarily today. The power is holding, but also understanding when holding isn't always the right choice, right? So, like I said, having someone in your corner to really help with that is going to be key. And I see lots of yeses in the comments. The deal was simple. This deal that we did was simple. If you know your buy box, if you know how to underwrite the deal, if you run a tight ship with property management, if you don't know how to do any of those things, it may not be so simple. It really may not be so simple. If you don't know how to do these things and you would like to learn, I told you I'm absolutely not pitching, I promise you, but I am going to give you an opportunity to book a call. To book a call with our team to learn more about how you can implement this exact model. Buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat, surrounded by other people doing the exact same thing, how you can get involved in our community. It's called Rentals Made Easy. And like I said, we have some community members on today who are running this in their exact same business. This is a 15-minute call. We're going to make sure that you have the right credit, that you have the right cash reserves, that you have the time to commit. Because if you don't have the time, what's the point? And on this 15-minute call, if it seems like it's a good fit, we will actually set you up with our specialist who's going to dive a whole lot deeper into what you're looking for, if it's really, really a good fit. And I promise you, we don't let everyone in. We actually only even offer to about a quarter of the people we talk to, so 25%. So it is a really high level, tight knit community. You guys can book your alignment call at this unlockedrentals.com/RMEM. It's Rentals Made Easy Mastermind alignment, or you can text us at the number that I just put in the chat. It is 614-368-7391. You can text us at that number and we will absolutely get you set up. And so I'm now going to stop sharing. I'm going to open it up to questions. So you guys let me know what questions do you have? What can I help with? Wait, I lost the... I know everyone's typing. Any questions? Okay, well, this is an easy one. Okay, here we go. Are most of our deals in Ohio? So my personal portfolio is in Ohio, Central Ohio. We're about up to, say, 60 minutes from Columbus proper, like the center of Columbus. Majority are inside of our outer belt, the highway around the city. So most of my portfolio is inside. We do have some outside, and we have some in like Buckeye Lake, and Newark. Oh my God, I'm like, where's Hudson? I'm in Newark. And so majority is there, but we have students in the community all across the Midwest, the Southeast. We have a lot of Pennsylvania investors, Delaware. We have some folks out in the West, but not quite as much. I think the numbers don't make as much sense in the West, like deal wise, but we have a lot of students who live West and they invest here in the Midwest. So there's a reason that everyone's flocking to the Midwest to invest their money. And I think you just saw one of the reasons. What other questions we got? Would I consider a joint venture deal for a 94% capacity apartment building that's outside of our building that's outside of our cash down. I don't quite understand the question. A joint venture deal. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't quite understand. But if you text us at 614-368-7391, I would be happy to try to figure out that a little bit better and consider. Yeah. It depends. I mean, the answer is it depends, and I have a lot more questions. So, um, okay, next question is also from a Lizzie. I've got 20 properties, 16 paid for. Congrats. That's amazing. Trying to figure out is it best to burr the properties I have or scale out my portfolio by burring new properties? This is Dustin. Yes. So Dustin, book a call. Please book a call. And there's two different routes you can go. You can either refi some of the 16 that are paid for, or you can actually get a HELOC on those. So there's lenders that we work with that are home equity line of credit on a rental. They'll go up to 70% loan to value. So if that property is worth 100K, for example, they'll go up to 70K on the loan. If you don't owe anything else, that whole 70K is your line of credit. Like that's beautiful. If you did that on even 10 of those, that's 700 grand that you can turn around and use to buy more real estate. Or you could refi them and get the money out, but you're paying interest no matter. Okay. So you have HELOCs and working with DSCR lenders. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like this is probably a bigger conversation in a good way. Like, what did I say? Real estate gives you options, and you have a lot of options here. 16 paid off properties is incredible. What market are you in? I'm curious. Sorry, I put you on the spot. Oh, Greensboro. Oh my gosh. Okay. Dustin, please can we talk? I have family in Greensboro. We're about to move down to Charlotte. So would love, 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 love to connect. Text us at the number 614-368-7391. Um, and okay, cool. So you guys, this is possible. I did not invent this method. There's all these coaches out there that are like, I have the next new shiny thing. I'm doing AI this and I'm doing some JV that and this and that and the other. You don't need all that business. You do not need all that business. You need a tried and true strategy with someone who's done it before you and a community that will support you. That's it. That's all you need. So would love, love, love to talk to everyone here. The minimum, and I'll tell you this will happen on the alignment call. We're looking for $25,000 in cash or equity, or, if you can get a HELOC or 401k, whatever. It doesn't have to be cash. 640 credit and minimum 5 hours a week towards real estate. So if you have those things, would love to have you. It is, okay, Dustin, write it down. 614-368-7391. And we'll send you the link over. You can also go to unlockedrentals.com, RMEM alignment. Awesome. Well, very cool. Oh, I told you, if you stay to the end, text that number, stay to the end. We're going to give you our 5-minute deal calculator. It's going to give you a really quick, high-level synopsis of what a deal would look like between buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. So we will shoot that over to anyone that texts us deal calculator 614-368-7391. We'll give that out. We'll also give out our private money playbook if you don't have the cash quite yet, or even if you do have the cash, we'll give that out. So just let us know what you want. And it comes to myself and it comes to Lizzie, the real Lizzie, not all these millions of Lizzies that registered. So we will get you some awesome resources for being here. And I thank you. I look forward to talking to a bunch of you. See ya. Have a good night.